AC Milan, Inter Milan and Juventus. Those are the three teams most football fans think about when they think of Serie A champions. Yes, there are others who've won it. Roma, Torino, Napoli, Lazio and even Genoa, but they're still household names. There's one club that's won the Scudetto 7 times, and it's pretty likely you've never even heard of them. Pro Vercelli was formed in 1892 as a gymnastic society in Vercelli, Piedmont, about halfway between Turin and Milan. In 1903, the football division of Pro Vercelli was set up. Despite having little success in their first few years playing in the lower reaches of the Italian pyramid, this would soon change. In the year 1907, by some miracle, Vercelli won the equivalent of Serie B. The club would then go on to win the Scudetto at the first time of asking as a newly promoted team in the highly controversial Italian Championship, where all players had to be of Italian nationality. Elsewhere in the world of Italian football, the Federal Championship was the other competition, played in by only foreign players. In the Italian Championship, Pro Vercelli would make rivals out of local team US Milanese, who they would go on to beat by 1 point in the 1908 Championship to win the title, and narrowly beat again in the 1909 final with a score of 4-2 on aggregate. All of this early success was made even more fascinating by the fact that almost all of the squad was from the town itself and were Italian born and bred, contributing to a significant portion of the national team's ranks. 1910 saw a bizarre twist of fate though, with much of Vercelli's squad being absent for the championship final against Inter due to commitments to a military tournament. What followed was an act of protest against the refusal to postpone the game. Il Leone fielded a team of youths who were destroyed 10-3 by an Inter side with little care for Vercelli's frustrations. By the time 1913 rolled around, Pro Vercelli had won 5 titles in a row with one of the most dominant and talented teams in world football. This year was also one of the most emphatic in their short history, conceding just 3 goals in the whole season and bowling over Lazio in a 6-0 drubbing in the final. So, just who were the stars of the show in Pro Vercelli's glory years? The first was midfielder Giuseppe Milano, who captained the early iteration of the Italian national team and was a rock for Vercelli in the championship. He spent his entire career at the club, making 112 appearances and even representing the nation at the 1912 Summer Olympics in the men's football tournament. His midfield partner was Guido Ara, who first played for Vercelli in 1908 and made 163 appearances for the club. Ara would be part of the Lions' next 2 title wins after 1913, which would come in 1921 and 1922, where he was both a player and a manager, meaning he was present for all 7 of the club's Scudetto winning campaigns. This is the point where the silverware dried up for Pro Vercelli, but they carry a history and a legacy for providing Italian football with one of the greatest players the country has ever seen. Silvio Piola was born on the 29th of September 1913 in Robbio, Italy. His first season for Pro Vercelli came at the age of 17, where he scored 13 goals in his first campaign. He spent 4 great years at the club, with his most infamous game coming against Fiorentina on the 29th of October 1933, where he scored 6 goals in their 7-2 win. The president of the club crowned the Italian striker by saying, "We will never sell Piola, not even for all the gold in the world. Once we sell him, the decline of Pro Vercelli will begin." Unfortunately for the club president, that statement would be a sign of things to come, as Piola was bought by Lazio in 1934 and Vercelli was sunk to the bottom of Serie A and to relegation, never to be seen in the top flight again. The impact the Italian striker had on his country and all the clubs he played for was profound, having a career that spanned 25 years and a legacy for Pro Vercelli that saw them name their stadium after the great man, the Stadio Silvio Piola. So the question is, what on earth happened in the next 90 years? Well, an eventual relegation from Serie B in 1948 was followed by an endless slog of lower league football. They dipped into Serie D several times over the decades, falling into a heartbreaking reality of becoming an amateur football club. In the 1993-94 season, they finally had a taste of some glory again, winning Serie D and their professional status back for good. The new millennia brought new problems though, as a cross-town rivalry was formed against Pro Belvedere Vercelli, which was founded as a merger between Trino Calcio and Pro Belvedere. The rivalry, however, would not amount to much and would actually have unexpected consequences for the Lions. In the 2010-11 season, Vercelli were not permitted to take part in their league due to huge debts. The club sadly folded, but were saved by Pro Belvedere, who changed their name to US Vercelli Calcio, as well as acquiring all of the original club's property and history. Just a season later, Pro Vercelli were promoted back to Serie B for the first time in 64 years, to the surprise of virtually everyone. Their one season in the second division was unceremonious though, finishing 21st in the 22-team league with a goal difference of -30. Since then, the club has dipped in and out of the second division, missing out on an automatic promotion place to Virtus Entella by 1 point in the following season, but would still go up via the playoffs. 3 seasons in Serie B followed, until they eventually found themselves relegated again in the 2017-18 season to Serie C, where they've been ever since. So, where are Pro Vercelli now? The club has hired former Napoli, Sassuolo and Parma defender Paolo Cannavaro as head coach for the 2024-25 season. Undoubtedly, the club will be looking to challenge for promotion this season, as they've found themselves in and around the playoff places for a number of years now. Pro Vercelli truly are the ghosts of Italian football, left behind for many decades in the commercialisation of the industry, which started happening even while they were winning top-flight trophies. Being a club from a big town or city usually meant more money and ultimately more success, which is something Vercelli felt firsthand. No matter where they go in the future though, they will always have those 7 title wins and the unusual bragging rights of being part of the historical elite, whilst being a town of less than 50,000 people.